Right, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. Now, in this video, I am going to give you lot my thoughts around Chelsea at this moment in time. We're going to look ahead to tonight's game against Luton, and I am going to give my starting 11 for the match tonight. But before we get into all that, I need to ask you, my loyal subscribers that I love, another big favour. This Sunday, I will be back on the kickoff, hosted by True Geordie as part of the live watch-along cast for the Newcastle against Liverpool game. So head over there Sunday 4pm, be watching, get in the comments please, show some support. I'll be reading through all the comments and I'm massively grateful and thankful for everyone who does so. Anyway, back to the video. So it's easy to be feeling quite down as a Chelsea fan this week, isn't it? Because to say that we were traumatised by last season actually is not an exaggeration. The football was shit, we didn't feel a connection with the team, and for the first time in a long time, we didn't win anything. So to say that I was relieved after that final whistle went on the final day of the season against Newcastle at home is probably an understatement, you know? I just wanted that season to be done, and when Pochettino came in, albeit only in pre-season, we were seeing some really good football and the signs were promising. And after the Liverpool performance, I was buzzing because, okay, we didn't get the 3 points, but I had seen more than enough in that 90 minutes of football to indicate that we had shipped the baggage from last season and that we were about to start winning games. So when we came tumbling back down to earth on Sunday, myself with a lot of the fan base were just absolutely gutted because we know that feeling. We had to put up with that feeling all last season, and this season we didn't think we'd have to deal with that feeling. But then I cooled down, I slept on it, and I've come to the conclusion that ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, bigger picture, it's not that bad, is it? You know, we didn't get the win, we didn't even get a point, fair enough, but we played some good football. We had some key moments go against us in the game, and on another day, we could have run out 3-1 winners or something like that in that match. And these things happen in football, don't they? You know, I'm sure Man City didn't expect to get beat early on by Brentford last season. I actually think they got beat twice by Brentford, didn't they? You know, Antonio Conte, when he started off as Chelsea manager, he had a bad start and then he changed things. We went on to win the league. I'm not suggesting that will happen, but what I am saying is I think that it's a little too early just yet because of the baggage and the trauma that we've got to draw a conclusion that it's the same as last season. You know, what I would say is the numbers don't actually lie because we played shit under Potter, we played shit under Lampard. The better form, I shouldn't say better, the less shit form actually probably came under Potter. And when you compare Potter's numbers to the numbers of this Pochettino side that he's building, you can see a big difference already. Pochettino's Chelsea have already got a higher XG than both Lampard and Potter's Chelsea. We're taking twice as many touches in the opponent's box, more passes in the final third, way more pressing of the opposition, a lot more possession, and all of these stats indicate that Pochettino's side are playing at a much higher level with a lot more intensity and creativity than both Lampard and Potter's side. And for those reasons, I do genuinely believe that if we keep sticking at it and we can maintain the way we're playing, it's only a matter of time until these stats come to fruition and translate into us winning matches. And had it not been for the fact that we feel we were starved of success last season, I don't really think people will be jumping to as many conclusions, you know. We need to give Pochettino time. We need to give the players time to gel, you know. You can say, oh, we spent $1 billion and whatever, but at the same time, yeah, okay, we spent $1 billion over the course of however long, but these players do still need to get to know each other, to gel, and that can only come with experience from playing games together. A lot of these players haven't played together. It's going to take a little while. What I would say is, I genuinely don't think that there's a manager in world football that could come in and turn us into title contenders at this second right now. So Pochettino's the man for the job. We've got to give him time, because what is the alternative? If we don't, it's just going to become like fucking Groundhog Day at Stamford Bridge. However, I am going to slightly contradict myself here. We need a win against Luton tonight. Luton Town are a lot more capable than most people would have you believe, and I'm probably one of the rare ones that actually gives Luton a really good chance of staying up this year. I know most people have got them going down, probably finishing rock bottom, but I actually think Luton can do something. However, if we don't beat Luton tonight, I think that if we're sitting here thinking that maybe we're going to secure Champions League football, we can wave bye to that. That's just not going to be the sort of season we're in for. But listen, I do think we will beat Luton tonight. I think we'll show a lot more of the character that we lacked seeing at any point last season, and I know this could age badly, but I don't care. By hook or by crook, I do believe that we are going to secure Champions League football this season. And when you look at the little run of games we've got now, it's very important that we get the ball rolling and start winning, because not only are they very winnable games, they're games that the players are going to be able to gel in. We can carry on integrating the new players into this this side over this next little run of fixtures that we've got without it being as high stakes. But let's be honest, it's the Premier League. Every match is high stakes. Anyway, before we speak about the starting 11, let me talk about the formation. For me, we've got to go to a 4 at the back now. I think that when you look at how good we looked in pre-season, that was with a 4 at the back. And the main argument, and I've said this before, that people will say that we shouldn't be starting a 4 at the back is obviously with 2 wing-backs flying on, Chelsea have always looked their best. They've always looked most creative. That is as and when Reece James and Ben Chilwell are both fit and available on the pitch. However, football progresses, time changes and roles change. And I do believe that we can't be thinking, okay, well, that's when we look best. In times gone by, I just think that we need to adapt. Those players are good enough that you can't pigeonhole them and say, oh, they're only good enough if they're wing-backs. When you look at Pochettino's sides, I've mentioned this before again, but Pochettino has always had really, really good results out of his fullbacks. He's done good work with his fullbacks. They've still been a creative outlet, and I think that with having a 4 at the back, you know, Malo Gusto is obviously deputising for Reece James at the minute while he faces a little bit of time on the sidelines, but even with Ben Chilwell there, 4 at the back, he's still a good defender, and I still believe that he can get forward if he has the right players in front of him to be able to facilitate him to get forward, drop into spaces that maybe he leaves open, and just have a good understanding of the player that they've got in behind them. So yeah, 4 at the back for me. I believe that if you're a manager coming into Chelsea, you need to have the strength of your convictions to be able to say, okay, this may have been how you played in the past, and this may be how teams perceive or fans perceive you to be best, but I am going to do what I think is best. And the proof's in the pudding. When we look at pre-season, that 4 at the back, we look very dangerous. We look very, very creative. So 4-2-3-1, starting with Robert Sanchez in goal. Right back, Malo Gusto, a centre-back pairing of Thiago Silva and Levi Colwill, and obviously Ben Chilwell, who will be captain at left back. Right, so from what I'm reading, Romeo Lavia didn't train yesterday. To give you a bit of context, I'm recording this on Thursday morning. So Wednesday, I read saying Romeo Lavia and Mykhailo Mudryk both didn't train. It didn't actually state whether they're injured. I don't think they are. So I'm not too sure how that's going to go. I am going to assume that Romeo Lavia is not available for selection, and I'm going to go with a midfield pairing of Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. The good news is, obviously, look, we've got AFC Wimbledon on Wednesday night. That's a match I'm going to be at as well. And that is going to be a perfect game to introduce both Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia into the lineup alongside each other, and that'll be a game that they can sort of get used to this team and start to get minutes as we integrate them into the squad. In this match, Enzo and Caicedo in the middle. Now the front line just behind the number 9 is going to be Raheem Sterling on the right. He had an unreal game against West Ham. It's a shame we couldn't have come away with the result, because I would say that that is his best match so far in a Chelsea shirt. In the number 10, I'm going to have Conor Gallagher. Now, some people might raise an eyebrow when it comes to this, seeing as he's been playing in a sort of holding midfield role, but I think the fact that Conor Gallagher's been picked in that holding midfield role isn't so much because from a technical side, he's really good at that job. I actually think it's just that he's got energy to burn, he's good at following the manager's instructions, and he will get everywhere and be a right nuisance in the middle of the park there. But when I look at when Conor Gallagher has looked best, both for Crystal Palace and at Chelsea, he has been a goal threat. He's popped up with some really important goals. I think of the last-minute winner for Chelsea against Palace, you know, and he has been one of our players that's been able to score, get in those positions, arriving in the box late. So I do think that Conor Gallagher could have a really important game here if he starts in the number 10, because being that we're without Nkunku and Kane Chukwuemeka, we are obviously going to need someone in that position, and Conor Gallagher could have a run at making this position his own, at least for the next 6 weeks or so. On the left-hand side, I'm bringing back in Noni Madueke. This boy excited me a lot last season. He was a rare glimmer of energy and belief when it looked like a lot of other players' heads had gone down, and let's be honest, he had a brilliant under-21s Euros for England, and then obviously didn't feature in pre-season because he had picked up a knock. He came on against West Ham. He looked lively. I would put him straight into that lineup and start Noni Madueke in this game. Let him do what he's good at. Pick up the ball, run at players, hopefully stretch the play, bringing players towards him to open up the space for our number 9 to potentially exploit, which is obviously Nicholas Jackson. Now, Nicholas Jackson's been a little bit of a mixed bag at times, hasn't he? He's one of those players that it doesn't always look beautiful on the eye, but he's very, very effective, you know? A few people question whether he would be strong and intense enough for the Premier League, and I think he's definitely shown that he is. However, I would like to see him get on the score sheet, and this is a match that I truly believe he can do that in. And look, ultimately, a number 9 is going to be judged on how many goals they score, and I get that, and that's fair enough. But if you take that to the side, the things that I love about Nicholas Jackson are his work rate and his tenacity, and like I say, he tries to make something out of nothing. When you look at a number 9, right, a lot of the time, you'll look at these number 9s, and they'll chase balls down, and I feel like it's sort of to keep up appearances and make it look like they're doing the right things. However, Nicholas Jackson is chasing these balls down and putting the defence under pressure because he genuinely believes that he can win the ball, or he can force the defender to make a mistake that his team could capitalise on. And I think if you carry on doing that and don't lose the hunger and the willingness to do it, over a 38-game season, you are going to force a lot of defenders to make mistakes. You are going to make a lot of opportunities out of nothing, and I do think that Nicholas Jackson's going to be vital for doing that for us this season. But like I said, we need to see him pop up with goals. I believe he can score goals at this level, but realistically, tonight is going to give us a lot of answers to that question. I'm going to put my neck out on the line here. I do think Nicholas Jackson will score a goal tonight against Luton. Luton fans, I mean you no disrespect. I think what you have achieved is brilliant. I was genuinely very, very happy when you beat Coventry to get to the Premier League, and I actually give you a really good chance of staying up in the Premier League and continuing this fairy tale story that you've been on recently. However, I do think that the boys will have too much for you tonight. I am backing Chelsea to run out 2-0 winners in this game. Please don't let this come back to bite me in the arse. Right, before I go, I spoke to Brian, the True Geordie, last night, and he's let me know that he wants me to be a regular on the kickoff this season, and I've got to be honest, part of me still can't get my head around all of this. So to give you a little bit of context, right, the reason I started doing YouTube was because I've always been a massive fan of YouTube. Like, I've always listened to multiple channels, podcasts, shows and whatever, and some of the ones that I used to listen to was like Ben Foster's podcast. I always listened to that. The Peter Crouch one I listened to, a channel called Football Iconic, Adeola Depot, that's a boxing channel, but I always used to listen to that. But the main one, and I'm not just saying this for effect, my go-to one was always the kickoff. Every time they uploaded, I would always listen to whatever they had uploaded. And never did I think at the time, 4 or 5 years ago, that not only would I start doing YouTube myself and uploading my own content, that within a couple of years I'm going to be sat in the hot seat with Brian and the rest of the boys on the kickoff as one of the cast members. So to say it's surreal is an understatement. And yes, it's a result of all the hard work that I've put into producing and banging out content for you lot, but it is down to you lot. You know, the little community that we're building here on this channel is something that has helped me out massively in getting these opportunities. Obviously, look, all the comments, and now the channel's growing, the comments are coming in, and it's so hard to get back to every single one of you. But I think most of you watching this will appreciate that at times I've probably got back to all of you. I try and get back to as many comments as I possibly can, and it takes up a lot of my time, but it's the least that I can do because you lot have helped me massively and you're continuing to do so. I'm loving it. So like I was saying before, please get on the kickoff stream, 4 PM on Sunday. Get in the comments, leave some comments or whatever. That'd be really good. And look, what I'm going to try and do is, obviously this weekend, I've got a busy weekend. I've got Chelsea Friday night. I've got a podcast with Josh on Saturday where we will record our review of the Luton game and look ahead to the Nottingham Forest game, another match that I'm at, and then I've got to kick off on Sunday. So if you lot would like, I'll try and get a load of little behind the scenes things and put something together so you can see what goes into the podcast, what it looks like for me, or just what my life's like at the minute. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. Yeah. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on tonight's game. Score predictions in the comments below. And if you've got time, let me know your starting 11s that you would pick for tonight's game in the comments below. Thank you very, very much. If you're not already, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get a notification every time one of my videos goes live, and I will see you all in the next one.
This Sunday, the kickoff is back live on the Kickoff YouTube channel from 4 o'clock. It's Newcastle versus Liverpool in a heated battle for top 4. Last season, Liverpool did the double over us, including a 99th minute winner at Anfield, where Jurgen Klopp rubbed salt right in the wounds, claiming it was a victory for football and Newcastle are anti-football. Well, revenge is sweet, and we won it this weekend. There's everything to play for. It's all the football, all the time, on the kickoff this Sunday, 4 o'clock live. I'll see you there.